Let's
We
go.
up.
Oh, I'm finally somewhat back. It took me like 3 days, man. I was in the most depressed state I've ever been in my life. I literally was so sad, bro, on Sunday. I don't think I talked to a single person, like a human
I
being.
believe it.
I don't think
I
I talked. Like
believe
I
it.
answered a couple texts, but I don't think I talked to a human the whole day. I was like, I couldn't even take words out of my mouth.
Bro,
So I was sad.
yeah, when your team loses, especially when it's the end of the season, had a bunch of promise, expectations, and it doesn't pan out, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Sad. Sad.
That way it went down. It was nasty work, nasty work.
I feel you. I feel you. Not the way I don't think the way anybody thought it was gonna end, but
No, no.
alas, here we are.
Here we are.
Let's get into it. My name is Johnell. I'm with my guy Matt Price Cash Walking. This is Heat Check powered by Designated Report. And as we were kind of discussing, we do have our finals matchup. It is going to be the Indiana Pacers versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. Unfortunately, the Knicks could not push their way past the Pacers into the finals. Um, I know you watched the game. Just what were the thoughts, the feelings as you were watching that game?
It was the roller coaster ride that the whole playoffs was.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was all these sudden bursts of feeling like, oh, we got it, we got it, we got it, and then something happened, and we're like, oh my god, turnover, and then it's like get a little run, get a little run, get a little run. McBride hit a three. Nah, he out of bounds, but he not really out of bounds though. And then you
Oh, that
drive and
was
drive.
crazy. Yeah.
Yo, I never in my entire history of watching basketball have seen nothing like that. I've seen out of bounds not get called out of bounds, but I never see inbounds get called out of bounds. I don't
Vehemently
know.
too. Rep
Like,
pointed right at his foot, like, "Yo, you were
yeah,
out."
yeah, I don't know. But yeah, man. So it was like a roller coaster ride of emotions for all of us. We were at Pippa's. Shout out to Pippa's. Shout out Letitia for that entire incredible run. She really held it down over there in Danbury, Connecticut. That was where watch parties was cracking at. So yeah, man. Shout out to all the Knicks fans out here. But yeah, man, it was a frustrating final game, a frustrating way to lose, which is why I think we're about to have the conversation that we're about to have.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Um, so again, great season for the Knicks. Last week we kind of touched on it, and you said yes, if the Knicks lose, you'd be disappointed, but at the same time, like you went farther than you went last year.
Yeah,
It feels like there's building blocks. You have, some of the key pieces in place.
yeah,
At this point, it's time to kind of retool.
yeah.
And the first move was firing Coach Tibbs. They
Relieving
let
him
him
of his
go.
duties. We don't like that. That's a
My
firing is a nasty
apologies.
word. They
That is
relieved him
true.
of his duties. I don't like I don't like how fired sounds.
Fair
Because
enough. He was
everybody
relieved
was
of his
screaming, fire
duties.
Tibbs, fire Tibbs. Nah, they didn't fire him. He did too good
Yeah,
for them to fire him. But
fair
he
enough.
definitely did not do so good that he could not be relieved from his duties as the head coach.
Agreed. Agreed. Okay.
Yeah, it
So
sounds
Tibbs
better. Feels
was,
better, right?
it does. It does. He was relieved of his duties. Um, Again, as our Knicks fan who watches every minute of every game, I guess my first question to you is: was the firing or the relief of duty was it justified? And then, do you think they already have who they want to replace him in mind?
Okay, so I'll answer your second question first because it's a quick answer. Yes, because I don't think they would do this if they didn't
I
have
agree.
like a basically like a they cast their rod out there since like Sunday, and they're seeing where things were going. And a guy I'm going to talk about as far as like candidates, uh, yeah, I think that like Johnny Bryant, his name started fluttering around there. He was on the staff the previous 4 years of Tibbs's 5 year tenure. So
Hmm.
before going to Cleveland. So I think, where there's smoke, there's fire. And right there, you just got that easy setup. And then Like, what was the first? Like, do I have a coaching like a list? Like, do I
No, do
do
you
I have?
think it was
Oh,
justified?
oh, do I think it was justified? That's right. Okay, and yeah. So secondly, yes, I do think it was justified. Interestingly enough, I think going into the series, he was firmly secured after what he had done to Boston.
Really?
I thought going into the conference finals, into the Pacers series, I said, because remember, we had on this show the conversation at the beginning of the season, like, what is a successful season for the Knicks? I said make it to the conference
Yep.
finals. And I still
Yep.
feel that way. I still feel like the season was a success and everything like that. But I feel like what the move that was just made, that's the front office telling you that like we gave you a championship piece, two championship pieces. We secured your wing, the type of like we gave you a tailor-made team, for
Yeah.
you to do what you want to do. And it still didn't go. So I mean, yes, the players are to blame. Certainly have a level of blame to take in everything that's
Sure.
happened and losing the series. But I think that, and when you get that close, and it came down to that, like Rick Carlisle is a phenomenal coach. He trusts his guy. He trusted his guys deep into the bench when guys got into foul trouble. He trusts his guys to all throughout the playoffs to give them significant minutes up against Donovan Mitchell's and Evan Mobley's and Darius Garland's and all these guys and Giannis and running their schemes and knowing what the roles and responsibilities are for everybody down 10, 11 guys. That's great development. It's great coaching. Tibbs
Yeah.
to have all the work that he's that we know he put in. It's like frustrated to see a team that looks so unprepared at times. Like the turnovers were egregious. The defensive coverages were just like you're a defensive coach, bro. And yes, was Cat like horrible defensively? Yes, but I think it was he was horrible at doing what you were asking him to do, which is
Gotcha.
you switched for two games and won both games. And then for whatever reason, you keep going back to drop coverage, which he can't play. He doesn't have the footwork to show and then get back. And then guys aren't fighting over screens. Bridges is light, a little light in the bridges. If that, so he's
Yeah. Yeah.
getting when he hits
Yep.
that screen, it knocks him off, and he's chasing. So Halliburton, who's got quick, he's quick. He's got great vision, a great feel for the game, knows how to get to his spot. Like it was a rough matchup for them against the coverages that Tibbs was running. So I do feel like it was coaching decisions. Like it wasn't like they're just mad and like just irrationally pulling this guy and say. I think that as the series went on, especially that everybody talks about the Halliburton shot in game one. That was a 20-point lead that
Yep.
evaporated in 3 minutes. And there
Yep.
wasn't a timeout called by the Knicks. Like there was all like there was all these coaching things that were happening. He leaves the same guys on the court. He does that after the guys they had come back before that and ran the lead up. He took those guys off the court and they never saw the court again. Deuce, Mitch, like while all this was happening. So I think I'm pretty sure. I'm 99.8% sure that this was all happened. All like it was this series that got him fired. Like
Yep.
I really do. You could bring up certain parts cumulatively throughout the playoffs, but I think that this series against the Pacers that he lost was the one that did him in. And to lose to them back to back years, them being the Knicks boogeyman right now is just in the last 25 years is it's not cool. It's not cool. Every time they've made the playoffs in the last 25 years, the same team knocks you out. So I think there's some urgency in the front office. They feel like the pieces are there, and if a different voice comes in, then they could take it to where the level they want to take it to.
So speaking of that new voice, is there a candidate that you would want to see move into that position to lead this team next season?
Yes, yes. So I want to just real quick. I got to shout out to Tim. Tim's did a great job. He had an outstanding record. He's like the best record since Pat Riley, and for what 4 out of 5 years in the playoffs, he came here and took over a 17-win team. So this is like we're not like negatively talking about Tibbs. Tibbs is a great basketball coach. I just don't know if he's a championship winning basketball coach, and that's what we're talking about right now. When you're a contender, I need somebody who's got excuse me the ability to adapt. It's adapt or die in this league. We're in a 3-point shooting league. the Knicks were one of the worst 3-point defense teams in the NBA. They were terrible all season at defending the three. That's why they couldn't beat Boston. That's why they couldn't beat Cleveland. That's why they couldn't beat the top teams, because the top teams shoot the three well. I think Johnny Bryant is who I like. When he was there, that's when the Knicks offense had the most kind of fluidity to it throughout the years. Even when they had Randall, like things were, it was he was a reckless player, but things ran a little bit more creatively. They used him a little bit more creatively. I like Johnny Bryant. He's an associate head coach under Kenny Atkinson, or beside Kenny Atkinson with
Yep.
Cleveland. They had a great season. You see the impact he does. I love the way I've watched some videos on how he breaks down the game. I love his the way he believes in 5 out offense, which is what the Knicks could murder you in right now if they wanted to, with that Towns, Brunson, Bridges, Anunoby lineup. Even with Hart out there, he could win with backdoor cuts. He talks about Johnny Bryant. I mean, how you don't have to be just 5 guys dotting it around the 3-point line. Cleveland plenty of times this year ran in with those double bigs, and they were just 5 guys spread it like shelled across, like even on the inside of the 3-point line. So it's just about the spacing. It's about the motion and the way that I love the way he looks at the game. So that's my number one choice. Obviously, Mike Malone. I don't know if he
Yep.
deserved to be fired in the first place from
I
Denver,
agree.
but he's got championship pedigree. He's a New York guy. There is an aspect to that. I need somebody who knows how to deal with the media here. Tibbs, he grew up in Connecticut, so he know about the Knicks. He know about New York. He knows, and he was fantastic with the media. Fantastic with the media. I can't say enough about Tibbs. He took the hard questions. He answered everything. He never was like brushing people off. He was fantastic with the media. I think if you asked other reporters, they would tell you the same. Um, but yeah, Mike Malone is somebody I think who could handle the pressure of the New York media, and if things happen to go bad, if they hit a 4-game losing streak or whatever. I think that he can answer those tough questions that you're going to get from the New York media and the pressure that you're going to get from the fans. And then lastly, I mean, I don't like revisionist history so much, but I wouldn't be sad about Jeff Van Gundy because he's still in basketball. He's constantly evolving. We know about him as an analyst when he was
Yep.
working with ESPN and as a broadcaster, how deep he goes into the game. Like he knows the game and he sees it truly as it is in front of him, and he understands that basketball is like constantly morphing. And so I think that, and of course, we know everything that he did when he was here last time. So
Yep.
yeah, those are like my top three. I also Phil Handy, he was a assistant with the Lakers. I think he still might be a
Yep.
assistant with the Lakers. I love his
Yep.
breakdowns of the game as well. I would not be opposed to him. He's a player's coach. The players all talk about how much they love Phil Handy. I've never seen a player not go under his, like, when he posts things on basketball and on Instagram. I follow him. What is it? 94 feet of something. I forget what it is. I'll get it before the end of this. But yeah, I love the way he sees the game, and I think he's paid his dues. He could have a coach opportunity. He's been on championship teams as an assist, coaching staff as an assistant. So I think if he interviewed well and he had a good idea for what to do with this team moving forward, yeah, I feel handy, man. I think he's a guy who can handle the media as well. So yeah, those are my guys. And Johnny Bryant from Oakland, man. So you already know, like, you're not even gonna startle him a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I like it. We'll see.
Those
We'll
are my.
see
He's my
what
top choice, though.
we'll see. What the cycles bring. I'm
Yeah,
sure they're gonna look at everybody because again, it seems like you guys have the pieces. I am a little nervous about filling out that roster, especially without draft picks that you gave up for Bridges and all that. But
Brunson discount
um,
though. The Brunson discount. Remember,
he
he
did
signed,
take a
he extended
discount.
last year, so that makes
Yep.
things a little bit more flexible for deepening the bench. To get some mid-level guys, some a Chris Paul maybe, a Russell Westbrook maybe. We need that other second ball handler come off the bench. Like these are Russell Westbrook, boy, in the Garden for 1 year. Like that would be electric because he still get up and down. He can't really shoot still, but like he still get up and down. He play hard. He gonna play. He gonna be with the crowd. I like the idea of that. Vet minimum
All
too.
right.
Probably costs like 4 mil.
We'll see what happens. We'll
I
see
don't hate
what
that. I don't hate
happens.
that.
Um, So, as mentioned earlier, our NBA Finals, the Thunder versus the Pacers. I have a quick game that I want to play with you,
Okay.
um, and it's called Real Talk or Reach. And basically, I'm just going to make a statement, a question maybe, and I just want you to let me know if it's real talk, if you think it's true, if it's a reach, if you're like, maybe we got to pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, so, first question for you is, if Shea wins his first championship and walks away with the finals MVP, where is he in the NBA hierarchy? Is he best in the league? Top three, top five, top 25? Where does that put him if they win the championship and he ends up getting finals MVP?
Yeah. Uh, I think that's real talk. I think that's real talk. Because I think that I've been saying, behind the scenes that this particular playoff is that of one that's like a new star is going to be born. Like you've seen it, like Tyrese Halliburton. Players say he overrated. Where he at now? Everybody who said
Yeah.
he's overrated is sitting in Cancun, and here he is. So dancing around and doing everything he's doing. So yeah, I think that's real talk, man. Shea, he's putting together a stretch of like what, three straight like incredible seasons scoring wise.
Yeah.
He's been
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
conversation for the scoring title the past 3 years. He's averaging over 32 back to back years, MVP this
Yep.
year,
Yep.
and a finalist last year. So he's really putting together a stretch of years. So you got to say he's in the argument. I would put him in the top three for sure. He's up there with Jokic and those guys right now. I would definitely put him up there. I
So
already
I'm
really
with
kind of put
you.
him up there. Put him above Luca or like anybody, like, you know what I mean. He's already up there. He because his skill level is incredible.
So I'm with you. I think that's real talk as well. I don't think if he were to win championship, win finals MVP, I don't think that catapults him to best in the world, but he's
No, no,
definitely top. Yeah, I think he's top three, top five as well. He very much in that conversation with Jokic, Giannis, Luca, Tatum when he's healthy. I think
yep,
he's right there with them. So I'm right there with you. Real talk.
absolutely.
Um, Next question, Tyrese Halliburton. His playoff performance, we talked about it last week, has been incredible. This run that he's been on. Has this elevated him into the top tier, the upper echelon of NBA point guards?
Oh, absolutely. He's such a great distributor. He's tough to get a beat on. He's tough to like guard. You see, like they didn't start guarding Bridges. Our Bridges didn't start guarding him full court until like they were down 3-1 because it's difficult to do because he's out the gates like off of a made basket. I couldn't tell you how many times off a made basket this guy created a fast break layup on the other end, which is
It's
crazy.
crazy. Yeah.
Like the ball goes through the net, boom, it's out of bounds. It goes to him. One pass lead to Siakam dunk. That's crazy. That's crazy. So I absolutely think he's in the upper echelon as far as like, a creator. Like what a point guard is supposed to do, way back. Like he's kind of old school point guard in that he distributes first and he can score. He scores in weird ways. They look strange. His shot, those funky layups, the
Yeah.
everything. His whole game is funky, but that stuff goes in, man. Shit goes in. I don't know how he
Yeah.
does it. I don't know how he does it, but yeah, man, he earned some of my respect. I'll give him a little bit now, but he'll have my full respect if he completes this. If he finishes this
That's
thing
fair.
and lays down the thunder, he'll have my true respect. But I think we caught an Aaron Neesmith and Siakam heater, and my dogs played their worst basketball at the wrong time. That's what I really
Yeah.
added up to. You'll never submit me to that they were a better basketball team than the Knicks were.
I
They
don't
were,
disagree with you. I
yeah. He had a great
um
series though. I really got to give him respect, and he's on his way.
yeah,
Still
yeah,
not better
yeah.
than Brunson though.
So I think that's a little bit of a reach. He has been
Oh yeah,
fantastic this
reach.
playoffs, and he's been fantastic. I think we can all agree on that. My thing is, as good as he is, or as good as he can be, he's very streaky.
Yeah,
Um, So I would want to, and I think either way, whether the Pacers win the finals or they end up losing, um, my feeling on Halliburton doesn't change too much because I want to see it again. Like I want to see him. I want to see this carry over into next season
Right.
for a full 82 and another playoff run. And again, that doesn't necessarily mean it culminates in a championship, but in terms of my thoughts on him, I think that's
Yeah.
what I need just for me. I just need to see it more consistently. Um,
Hmm.
I got a quick stat for you. Among guards, Tyrese Halliburton was a plus 222 plus minus, which is good. Like, don't get me wrong, it's good, but it put him in
Yeah.
between John Morant and Max Strus. He's number 37 out of all the guards in the league. So, like, I've been very vocal about how inconsistent John Morant has been, and Max
Yeah.
Strus he was fantastic this year,
I
but
didn't even know
kind
he
of a
was technically a
journeyman.
point guard.
And yeah, well, this is
Like I was
guards,
like,
not point guards.
oh,
Guards.
guard. I thought.
Yeah, yeah. So again, he both of those players are good. Halliburton's good. Um, he's on this incredible heater. I just want to see it more consistently before I crown him as
Yeah.
one of the best point guards in the league. So I think it's a bit of a reach, but I think he's right on the precipice of
Okay.
truly
Okay.
like cementing himself as one of the best point guards in the league.
Yeah. I don't even think I said real talk or reach, but I thought I would say real talk just because I mean he slayed the dragons, man, and if he
Yeah,
finishes this
that's
thing,
fair.
he really gonna be on his way. He's
That's fair.
slaying some
That's fair.
dragons along the way, dude. He took out the number one seed 3-1.
Yep.
He took out the Giannis, one of the greatest players in the world. Like he's playing great through all of it. Nick
Yep.
Siakam has
That's
on a
fair.
heater too. I gotta shout out
That
Siakam.
that's a fact. I got a couple more for you.
Okay.
The Pacers' fast-paced offense will outmatch the Thunder's defense.
I feel like this is the deciding factor of the series. In all seriousness, the turnover battle. I think real talk. Yeah, there's success of that pace. If they're able to play that way successfully, then real talk. That will help decide the series. Yeah, like if you could execute your game plan, like we know that's what they want to do. They want to maximize possessions. They want to get it up the floor fast before you could set your defense up. We saw how the Thunder's defense likes to play. When things hit the paint, they like to all crash down.
Yep,
The Pacers got shooters. You know what I mean?
that
So
they do.
consistent shooters. So yeah, I think that if their ability to play at that pace is gonna really decide this whole thing.
So I think this is also a little bit of a reach, simply because you look at the numbers, regular season and playoffs, they are very comparable offensively. In the playoffs, Indiana's offensive rating is 117.7, the Thunder's 115.9, second and third in the playoffs, respectively.
Oh,
Defensively in the playoffs, OKC's 104.7, best in the playoffs, and Indiana's 113.6. That puts them in the bottom half of the playoff field.
okay.
Um, while I do agree with you, the pace it'll definitely be a factor in all of this. Um, I've been saying it. I trust OKC's ability to lock in defensively. The
Yeah.
Pacers don't play a ton of defense. Like you mentioned, they're looking to run off made baskets. Like that's their game. They're looking to make
Yeah.
it a track meet. They want to run you off the court, and I just don't see that happening offensively against the Thunder. And if it really got down to the nitty gritty, where we're looking at a 110-104 game or something like that,
Oh
that
yeah.
plays
Okay. So he's
that
got
plays
the guy for it.
into
Yeah.
yeah, that plays into OKC's hands as well. So
Absolutely.
um, I'm gonna say it's a little bit of a reach, but I
Okay.
agree. I mean, the pace and the turnover battle will be
Yeah.
probably two of the biggest things that determine who wins this
Exactly.
championship.
Because when they get those steals, the Pacers they look right up the court. And Siakam be leaking. They supposed to be leaking. Like these
Yes.
guys they're very well taught about ball hits his hand, get up the court. Like you could tell they practice that. He throws
Yep.
one lead pass and it touches their hand, and the next thing it's in. Literally, these dudes long
Yep.
shot. So I think that plays a big part if they're able to do those type of things and steal. Like if you're doing like how they did against the Knicks, and you're stealing 20 points, 26 fast break points a game off of like 19 of them off turnovers. Like, bro,
Yep.
that's hard to win. So if they're able to just kind of, I think it's more about Indiana's defense than it is about Oklahoma City's
I,
defense. To be
I,
honest
I,
with you,
I would agree with that. I would agree with
if
that.
Indiana's able to, come up, Rick, and again, dragon slaying. Rick Carlisle done slayed some dragons now. We know that he's
That's
been
fair.
out here and he's taken out some tough teams. So I think that he's a great coach, like I said earlier, and that he can formulate a game plan to slow down the MVP at the final level. Literally, like beat the boss, beat the final boss. I think that I just feel like this team, the way they're playing, even though OKC's been steamrolling everybody. Maybe it's because I watched that series a little more closely with they're playing my team, but I just feel like all the bounces, everything was going right for them. Everything went right for them. They're on that kind of like storybook type of run. So I think
Yeah.
that they might be if they push this thing to 6, it's anybody's series.
Fair. That's fair. Pascal Siakam, you mentioned him earlier. His
Yes,
versatility gives the Pacers a significant edge in the front court.
real talk,
Okay.
real talk. I
And like
believe
you
that
said, he's
because
been on a heater.
he's on a heater, and now we're talking experience, right? Chet Holmgren
Yes.
probably gonna be that guard. Siakam draws fouls. He loves to get the body into you and spin off you and go up and draw fouls, get you out of. He likes to get you off balance. That's what he was doing to Cat all series long. Everybody wondering why is Cat always coming out with 6 minutes? Because this guy guards him and he gets. That's what they were just
Yeah.
orchestrating these things. They'll set up these matchups for a young, aggressive rookie who wants to block shots and thinks he's probably watching tape right now, thinking like, "Oh, I'm gonna send that when I see it," until he feels it on him. And this dude's like giving it. And Siakam, he's he's a championship winning player. He's their
Yes.
only championship player.
Yep.
I think he's the only one who's reached the finals in their career. So uh, I really think that that's a big advantage for them. He's on a heater.
Yep. And I'm right there with you. Real talk. I talk about experience all the time, championship pedigree, hint how well he's been playing this playoffs combined with knowing what to expect in the NBA finals, having won an NBA finals. I think all of that does play a role. I'm right there with you. I think Pascal Siakam is going to be big in this
Big.
series if the Pacers hope to pull this out.
His ability to run the
Um,
floor as well. That's a big. I'm telling you, everything's kind of coming together with this show. Like our last conversation is going into our next conversation, and then our next conversation is our last. It's like really nice. It's flowing.
yeah, yeah. So I got one last question for you.
Okay.
We've talked about, and it's just kind of been a conversation in general, just about how young this core for the Oklahoma City Thunder is. Um, if they were to win a championship in 2025, by 2030, are we looking at a dynasty? I'm saying, do they get at least one more before 2030? Do they potentially get two more before 2030? Is this a dynasty if they're able to win this year and stay healthy moving forward?
I'll say real talk. Hear me out. They've been able to build this while stockpiling a garage full of draft picks. So when whoever Chet want to do whatever or anything like that, or somebody started talking about I want his contract or whatever, they're not maybe playing up to what you feel like they deserve that. You could take one pick, two pick him, and get whatever you want because their picks are like they're valuable too. Like they're good picks from
Yeah,
teams that are older teams that are about to be garbage in a couple years. So those picks
yeah,
could be so they
that's a
have
fact.
great picks. So yeah, Stan Presti's done a great job. They've dealt in an incredible way, and it's truly incredible that they've built this team the way they have through the draft and not really through free agency. Like they got one guy in free agency, and it was Isaiah Hardenstein. Like he's not a household name. He had a great playoff run last year, but he's not a household name in the
Yeah.
NBA by any sorts. And then your those picks you were able to draft Chet. You know,
Yep.
the SGA the trade for that was huge for Paul George, who's not even on the team that you traded him to. All those
Yep.
things led up to, and then you get both Jalen Williams as well. I think both of them came from or no, one of them was from a Clippers pick, and one of them was from I don't even know whose pick. But yeah, man, they've done an incredible job, and I think that is real talk that they could keep swapping things out. And as long as you got SGA locked, which I assume they're gonna want to do that because he's still pretty
Absolutely.
young himself, just heading into his prime, just at the start of it. Yeah, they could keep retooling this thing for years, and it's gonna be
Yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's real talk. Um, I think they win if they win this year. I think they win two more before 2030,
I
and
think
really
so.
solidify themselves as a premier team, premier organization. And like you said, they have a lot of flexibility.
Yeah,
I would assume eventually. I don't know if it's going to be Shea or
yeah.
Chad or whoever. Like they're
Bird
already in
rights on
commercials
all
and
these
stuff like that.
guys. Yeah, like bird rights on all
So
these guys. Like you could sign them. I don't know what these aprons and all that be doing. I don't get into the capology of it, all the economics of it all. I just know
yeah,
that all of them will be extension eligible at some time, and you can go over the cap to keep them.
yeah,
So
and then you
they're
could
like,
pay
I
the
think that's how
luxury
the rule
tax or
works. Yeah,
whatever, and
yeah.
yeah,
And if they're winning championships, which we're saying they're going to be doing, then I'll just pay 286 million, $300 million payroll a year to keep the
why
core
not?
of my team together as they keep producing until they lose.
Exactly,
Like, why not?
exactly.
So, yeah,
And then you
because
deal
you're
with
going to
it
bring
then. I
in that
mean,
much in the season. Yeah, in a playoff run every year. You bring in twice that.
yeah,
Put $1 billion into OKC. That would be more than oil money out there now. You have some different type of money out there.
yeah, buddy. Um, all right. So at the time of recording, it's Wednesday, June 4th. The finals begin tomorrow, June 5th. Game one in Oklahoma City. Let's get into some predictions before we get out of here.
Okay.
Um, the Thunder were a title contender coming into the season. Not to toot my own horn, but I did pick them to go to the
You
finals
did
at the
pick them.
beginning of the season. Um,
I
the
think I picked the Grizzlies.
Pacers,
That was bad.
I
I
mean,
had Knicks Grizzlies, I think.
you
And
did, you did,
Knicks were close. Grizzlies, they fired their coach.
yes,
who now whom now, honestly, I just thought about that. I don't know if he has the character to do New York media. That's a big part for me as far as the hiring processes.
oh, it
And if
definitely
Leon
is.
and Leon, if you're listening, since you don't talk to the media, you got to make sure that freaking coach can. He just be putting out statements. Guy's crazy.
Yeah,
He really don't care. I mean, he cares, but he's just be putting
nah,
out statements.
you got to get in front of them sometimes.
Yeah,
Um,
since Tibbs and Hum got here, we haven't heard his voice. That was the last time he talked on the media, like 7, 8 years ago.
um, the Pacers were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Um, Shea, 26 years old. Tyrese Halliburton's 25. They both have a lot of game left in them. But if I were to ask you who's under more pressure to win this series, who would you say?
Oh, it's Shea, unquestionably.
Yeah.
They were the 1 seed last year, got eliminated early. Then everybody started calling, hey, maybe they're too young. Maybe it's just not their time yet game. So now, they're out to prove something. Plus, he just won MVP. Plus, last year, okay, you didn't have Chet, but now you got Chet. All this thing is built up for you now, and you guys are healthy in the finals as
Yes.
heavy favorites. Heavy favorites. So, yeah, the pressure's on you, buddy. You don't
Yeah.
got to sweep them. You just got to win four first.
Yeah. For all the reasons you said, absolutely
Yeah.
agree. It feels like the Pacers are playing with house money.
Oh yeah.
Um, you
No one
know,
expected them
if
to be here.
yeah, if they win a championship, it's going to be huge. But I think if they were to lose, nobody in Indiana is
Yeah,
losing sleep over it. They're not, calling for anybody's jobs or, even the whole Halliburton thing of him being overrated. I think that dies down a little bit, even if they were to
yeah,
lose. So I'm
yeah,
right there with you. Shea and the Thunder, they've got to take care of business. Otherwise, I think this season, I think they've got to look at the season as an extreme disappointment if they're not able to take care of business and win a championship.
I agree.
Um, X factors. Um, I'm gonna let you go first. X factor for let's go with the Thunder. Who's the X factor? We know Shea, we know Jalen
Yeah,
Williams, we know Chet, we know all these guys. Um, who's the X factor for them to, really secure this thing and win a championship?
yeah. I'm not even gonna take a starter. I'm going to the bench for the Pacers. Ben Mathurin. That the what he did for them off the bench late in the series, he's like a sixth starter. He really is. Like he can give you 15 minutes of nonstop effort on both ends of the floor. He's scoring the basketball. He's creating turnovers. He's blocking shots. He's locking up the other team's lead player on the court at the time, whoever that is for the seconds or whatever. He's a really special player for them. He hits the threes. He pushes the pace. He can run. He's just a great utility player to bring off the bench, which is crazy. I
Yeah.
mean, he's a starting caliber player. He was starting for them prior to being injured last year, and then Nimhard came in. He played great. They make the conference final, so naturally Carlisle comes in and says like, let's hold that. But yeah, he's a starting caliber player. They will not be able to keep him for long because somebody's going to be coming to get him to start for them in a year or two,
Yep.
perhaps this summer. And yeah, I think he's a huge X factor for them. If I had to put like a 1B, I'm going to say Neesmith, but I don't know who he's guarding. Are they going to put Neesmith on Shea? Because he's fouling out. And I think he's too valuable of a defender to to put on him. I think they go Nemhard maybe on Shea for the foot speed and just being like a kind of pesty defender, able to get just slide his feet and stay in front. So yeah, it's all about responsibility. A little Canada on Canada crime, eh? That's what I said.
Um, so for Indiana, I'm going with the guy you just mentioned, Neesmith.
Yeah,
I think he's going to need to contribute in order for the Pacers to potentially win. Um, I can definitely see your concern defensively, but I mean he is a very good defender. He can guard multiple positions. I don't. You mentioned it, Shea. I don't know if that's the guy that you want him on,
yeah,
but he can guard multiple positions, and I think um, that's going to be beneficial to the
yeah,
Pacers defensively,
big time.
particularly against this team against the Thunder, who can shoot from literally every position. So being able to switch, being able to disrupt and make shots difficult, I think that'll play a big role in it. Um, Also, his shooting. He's not scoring a bunch. I think he's averaging 12 or 15 points in the
Yeah,
playoffs or something like that. But he shot 53% from three against you guys. He's shooting
yeah,
50% from three in the playoffs in general,
yeah.
um,
Crazy, playing great.
which will allow, yeah, which will allow them to spread the floor and kind of open things up. Let Halliburton, be able to, like you mentioned
Yeah,
earlier, penetrate and be able to see everything.
yeah,
Dish, score at the basket, whatever the case is. Um, and it's also worth mentioning this year he became the 10th player in NBA history to join the 50-40-90 club. So, he's not getting
ah,
the crazy amount of touches, but when he is, he's good and he's
yeah.
making every shot worth it. So,
They
I think
found some
he
with him.
is I think he's going to be a big factor in how well this team plays offensively and defensively
Yeah, yeah.
in
They're gonna
this
need a lot
series.
out of him. They're gonna need a lot out of him for sure. I
Do
was
you
gonna
have an
say for
ex?
OKC.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, for OKC. For OKC, the X factor for me is gonna be Chet, because he was like that missing piece that kind of got them. He's having a great playoffs, but I just feel like the
Yep.
youth, the pressure of the finals, the speed of the finals, the intensity of the finals. We know that everything, the levels about to go up, and can he stay on the floor? Can he stay out of foul trouble? Because if they start getting in foul trouble, they can't defend the way that they want to defend
Yep.
when they're in the penalty. So I think it's going to be important how what kind of discipline a young player like Chet shows. In his first finals, I'm really curious to see how he reacts to this morning because he's I think one of the youngest players in this whole thing in the entire
That
finals,
sounds
either
about right.
side.
Yeah.
Like he's one of the
Yeah.
youngest players on their team. He's one of the youngest players in these finals. So yeah, I'm excited to see how that plays off. But I think if he's hitting his shots and he's able to be a threat offensively and just use his unique skill set to do everything that he does, then yeah, he'll be he presents a lot of matchup problems. He gives Rick Carlisle something else to think about besides the MVP of the league, and I think that's going to be a big difference for them. Who is it? J Dub? Is it Chet? Who's going to be the guy that steps up? I think it's got to be Chet because he's the one real matchup nightmare as far as they have in that starting lineup. Like you could figure something out how to defend Shea. You could figure something out about Jalen Williams, or he could have an off night. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You can't figure that out. You can't figure out a
With
guard
Chet.
7'3" can shoot a three.
Yep.
Not a lot of defense for that. Or he could put it on the floor, snatch it back, put it back on the floor, get all that. Yeah, he's very skilled, really good player, and I think he's the X factor for them.
I like it. I like it. Um. So we talked about the series. We talked about the players. Who do you got winning? Who do you got winning? Why do you have them winning? How many games?
Like my everything in my head is telling me to go Oklahoma City. Like it's crazy. Everything is telling me Oklahoma City. I just feel away. I'm not crazy enough to pick the Pacers, but I'm definitely going like Thunder and six or set. Like I just feel like this is going to be way tougher than everybody thinks it is. I think that a lot of people still are dismissive of the Pacers because they're dismissive of the Knicks and they're dismissive of the Cavs without this one person and dismissive of the Bucks without Dame, and their run here is kind of like questioned, but it doesn't matter. Like they're here, and I think that they've been playing great basketball to get here. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Thunder. I'm gonna go. I just think that they're gonna overwhelm everything that the Pacers can try to do to beat them. There's just too much for those young guys to give to you, and they got two guys on their team who are very, very, very tough to guard. So maybe even
Okay.
three if you add in Jalen Williams because he could get hot and have a 25 or two. So
Yep.
yeah, I think Thunder and six. I'm gonna say six. Thunder and six.
Honestly, Thunder in four. Get them out of here. Get the Pacers out of here. The
Yeah.
Thunder are going to sweep these dudes. And I just had this
Are you one of
conversation
those
yesterday,
who's
actually.
saying that it's the worst final like ever? Are you on that like type of mood?
No, no, no,
Because I
no.
think the
Honestly,
basketball is actually going to be good.
I agree. I don't think, and we kind of touched on this last week in terms of like the small market thing. I think the series is going to be entertaining.
Right.
Again, especially in today's NBA, we don't want to see an 87-94 game. Like we do want to see scoring. Like obviously we want people to lock in defensively when they need to, but at the end of the day we want to see scoring. We're going to get a lot of it in this series. I think it's going to be super entertaining. I think if you're a casual basketball fan
Yeah.
or you don't watch the NBA, you like college basketball, I truly think you can sit down, watch the series, and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Kind of piggybacking off of what you said in terms of Oklahoma City overwhelming the Pacers, I I just think that's going to be every game. I think it's going to be nip and tuck for most of the game, and there's going to come a stretch in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter, in the second half where Oklahoma City gives up they go on a 12-2 run or something like that,
Yeah,
which kind of puts the game out of reach.
yeah,
Um, I don't think any of these games are going to be blowouts the way that Oklahoma City has been. I think they played the Pacers only once this year, and they beat them by like
yeah,
20. I don't think that's going to be the case this time around. I think the games will all be relatively
yeah,
close. I just think I just think the Thunder will find a way to win each and every one of these games and sweep the Pacers, which I think that'll be the one letdown is if
yeah,
there's only 4 games. I just think OKC is too good. I think they're too good. I think
yeah.
they're poised to win a championship.
I think a key part, a key factor in the Pacers even being here is exactly what they're up against now. They've been the underdog, lower seed in every single series. So they've
Yep,
been started every series on the road, and they've won at least a game on the road in every series. I think
that's
they've
true.
started
Yeah,
2-0 in all of them, or two, or except for no, didn't no, they were 2-0 on Milwaukee. They were 2-0 on the Cavs, and then there were 2-0 on the Knicks. Yeah. That's how, yeah, crazy. So I think that's important. That if they get one of these things in Oklahoma City, then that's gonna be when I'll start thinking a little bit different. Because you know what they say, the series doesn't start until you get a win on the road, and they've
yep.
gotten one every single time. So if they could continue that streak, then I think we're gonna be looking at a longer series than everybody's expecting.
We'll see. I got
Get
OKC
them out,
for
man. I actually
OKC
would
and
love to say that
four.
at least we lost to the champions, though. So maybe y'all Hicks could do something out there. At least I can say
I
we lost
guess.
to the freaking champions. Scrubs.
Yeah,
Take a shower.
that's so crazy. um, One last question for you. MVP prediction. We both have the Thunder winning. Um, Presumably, I'm assuming you're going to say Shea, but
Yeah.
who do you got for MVP? Assuming the Thunder do win.
Yeah, we won't Shay. Because he's not going to leave any doubt. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He might have one weird game where, like, he's like 9 of like 24 or something like that, but he still has like 40 or somehow. I don't even know how the
Cause,
math
yeah,
works, but
because he'll take
because
20
he
free
takes 13
throws and
free throws. Yeah, something
yeah,
crazy. Like he'll have one of those games, but like, and it'll look so crazy on paper, but it'll be a game that they stay in somehow and figure out a win down the stretch, like you were saying before. So yeah, he's gonna be a part of any winning that they do in this series. He's gonna have to be great. So I think he's going to be, and yeah, man, Thunder in 6. I still think it's gonna be longer than anybody thinks.
okay. Um, I'm right there with you. I feel like it's kind of a corny prediction to say Shea, but I think if the Thunder do win, it's going to be
It's
on the
easy.
back of him. Um, you know, the leading scorer this year, regular season. I think he's third in scoring in the playoffs. MVP, obviously, best record in the league. Team was the best team in the league, basically wire to wire regular season, because of how good he's been this year. So, yeah, I mean, could I see Chet winning it for some of the reasons that you mentioned earlier, where you know the defensive game plan is really geared towards
Yeah,
stopping Shea, and he has to facilitate a little bit. Absolutely, but I think at the end of the day, he's going to figure out how to get his. He might not go for 30 a night in the play in the finals, but I think he's going to get his. He's going to get his numbers, and I think he's going to wrap up a truly magical season for him,
yeah.
personally, and for this team and franchise and
Yeah,
fans
for sure. And for the league, he's gonna do
and for the
something
league.
that that triple crown like that, the freaking league season, regular season MVP, Finals MVP, champion. Not a lot of them done did it.
That's a fact.
Not a
That
lot of them
is a
did it.
fact.
The great ones have though, so he's definitely gonna be
Yeah,
on his way.
yeah. With that said, let's get out of here. We got game one
Yeah,
tomorrow night. When's game two?
I don't know
I
how they're
think
spreading these out.
I
I
think
think
it's
game two might
Sunday.
be
Actually, now
Saturday
that I'm
or
thinking about it,
Sunday. Yeah, Father's Day, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. I gotta look into it. Let me check. I
that
really don't
feels like
know.
a really long time.
It's like
I
three
would think,
days.
yeah, I would think they would do Friday, Sunday, but
Oh, that's
yeah.
torture for these guys. Poor guys. You gotta stay in OKC all that time. Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, game five is the eighth. The eighth is Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
the 11th, which is next Wednesday. So literally, game three is when we're coming on next week. That's crazy wild, bro.
So yeah, by the time we're on next week, we will have gotten through two games, and we'll see. I mean, you
Yo,
know,
I needed to get I needed to get to 7 games because I'm gonna be in Atlantic City on the 19th, and game six is on the 19th if necessary, and game seven is on the 22nd, and I'm supposed to be leaving on the 22nd, but I got some more
okay.
PTO, and I could be sick, and it'll come back Tuesday.
uh, all
So
right.
hopefully we hit a wager or two. Hang out down there at AC. A couple more days.
We'll
I don't
see.
know. We'll see. Maybe I'll
We'll
be
see
back.
how
Maybe I
things
won't.
pan out.
Maybe I'll be back.
With
Maybe
that
I won't.
said, let's get out of here. My name's Johnell. I'm with my guy Matt Price Cash Walk In. We will be back with y'all next week. Um, Drop your predictions down low. Who's winning the championship?
Yes.
Who's gonna win MVP? Um, we want to hear it all. We want to see it all. So we will be back with y'all next week. Hopefully, in the throes of a very entertaining finals. And until next time, let's
Let's
get
do
out of
it.
here.